What's going on, guys? It is Mason of Delfino back again from a better view in the apartment. I have a lot of stuff to show you today. Actually, it's a few things I know you do not have in your Nintendo collection. As you know, over the past 6 years or so, I've kind of become a little bit known for this whole room of mine, and it follows me every single place I move, which has been a lot more than I would like to admit lately. And they happen to all be homemade. Since I started my YouTube channel, Mason and Delfino, I became quite the little contractor with my dad, and him and I put together some pretty cool stuff I would like to show you that have been a big influence in this whole Nintendo room collection thing I have going on here. So with that said, I guess the first thing would be the first thing we ever made. Here is a Nintendo logo sign thing. This is actually wood. I think it's about 18 inches long, maybe like 15 or so. I'm actually not positive. But it says Nintendo. As you can see, it is the logo right front and center. It is very cool. We tried to get the font as close as we could, except for the little registered logo trademark thing that is actually not very noticeable at all. That took a lot of different trial and errors to try to kind of just get some kind of little detail in there to signify that that's the trademark logo. But yeah, so it has like hangers on the back. You can kind of hang it up on the wall, or do what I do, just set it up on the top of the shelf, which is really cool. So there's that, black and red, just like their original logo used to be. While white and red is their theme now, I do have a black and red logo just because I thought it looked cool at the time. So that's pretty cool. I think it looks pretty resemblant of the Nintendo logo itself. Not exact, of course, but it looks pretty cool. Here is a shelf dedicated to The Legend of Zelda. Of course, as you know, it's the Triforce. These sides of the triangle are obviously gold, the middle is black to signify the middle of the normal Triforces you see in the Zelda games. However, there's another shelf right here just to set stuff on so it's not a giant gaping triangle. That really wouldn't be able to hold much if it didn't have a shelf already inside of it. The back is gold and it's very cool. We actually made two of these. I actually gave one to Triforce, which is now sitting at Bahala's Ark, not in Jamaica with Triforce. But anyway, yeah, there's a Triforce shelf. It's really cool. I was originally going to put some Zelda stuff on it, but it wouldn't fit on the shelf, and I have not enough stuff to fit on this, actually, believe it or not. So there's that. This was back in the day of the little early Mason Nintendo News by Me channel. This is actually just kind of like a storage box based off of Mario. It has the sides, as you would see in like the original Mario, Super Mario Bros. Kind of an orange color, and the like front's obviously like a question mark block. As you can see, it's got a little bit of wear and tear here though, just because of like the dirt and stuff. You know, it's been worn over the years. It has a little knob here you can just open it with, and as you can see, I have a lot of random stuff in here actually. Super NES Classic instructions, Smash Bros pin from E3, Sharpie. Whoa, I was looking for that. The inside's gray, so it's just kind of like a nice contrasting color, I guess. Kind of just, it's the inside, not that important. But we put it together. On the bottom, it's just a flat orange because it's never really seen. So that's cool, but along with this one, we also have one more. This is the red exclamation point block from Super Mario 64, aka the Wing Cap box. Again, it's kind of dusty, kind of worn. We hand drew these, we hand painted them and everything. These were just a fun project my dad and I used to do. We haven't done one lately, but we may end up doing that at some point here again soon, I don't know. But yeah, so this actually was intended to be like a bank, but that hasn't ever been its use, I'm not gonna lie. There's hinges on the back to open this, and it's just a nice little handle, just bam. And in here, I have an old third-party N64 controller. I got, ooh, sunglasses. I didn't know I had these in here. That's kind of cool. I have an old phone case. Literally just a bunch of stuff nobody really cares about. These things are really cool though. I think it really makes the collection special, you know? It's stuff you don't normally see, and I like that. If you're a veteran of my YouTube channel, you've seen this guy before. This is Bowser Jr. It's a wood cutout. I drew him on there, and basically the back is just pure wood. If you recall, I had a Christmas special, The Day Bowser Jr. Stole Christmas. Pretty cringy stuff on my channel if you want to go scope it out. Where this guy took over Christmas, he stole all my presents and all that stuff. But for this video, I wanted to do, like, I wanted Bowser Jr. in it. I wanted him to be a prop. So we made him, and I used him for the entire video, which was pretty cool. And you know, it's just very thin wood. We drew him, we painted him, and all that stuff. All this is purely homemade, and it's really cool stuff. So you got his bib here. As you can see, like the Sharpie marks aren't really the most effective. We kind of did a little bit of damage painting this thing. It's not the best quality anymore. Dust just gets on wood. That's all there is to it, you know? Once it's on the wood, it's hard to get it off. So if anything, these are just nice little pieces that I like to sit and reminisce on every time I look over at them, you know? It's cool. So those are kind of the smaller things that me and my dad have made together. Kind of the logo, you know, we have the 2 boxes, we have the Triforce shelf. But what about the other things that kind of act as the bigger shelf pieces of my room? Well, there's a lot of those as well, but these are just really cool things. So the first one I'm about to show you is one of my favorites. This is a candy dispenser, one of the first things I ever envisioned to do with my father. Basically, I wanted a candy dispenser, and my favorite candies include Sweet Tarts, Nerds, and that's pretty much it. I'm not the biggest sweets eater, but I really wanted a candy dispenser for some odd reason. So I drew it, I had the idea in my head, my dad and I put this together. Candy gets caught up in here after you drop it in the hole up here, and then it just gets caught in this cage. You turn this knob and it goes from here down to here, it just slides down until eventually it reaches the big dark doom of the question mark block and the exclamation point blocks from Super Mario 64 once again. There's little green felt on the bottom here to catch the candy so it doesn't get tarnished by wood dust or anything, as if this isn't already dusty in itself, but you get the idea. My idea was to draw a piranha plant coming up through a pipe in the back, which made it a lot more aesthetically pleasing, I think, instead of just the blocks at the bottom, and it really adds a lot of, I guess, personality to this whole collection. My dad's really been a huge help with it, believe it or not. Oh, there goes the scarf. Here's a Nintendo 3DS. Right whenever the 3DS got debuted in 2010, I was all about trying to have one of my own, you know. Then I started YouTube, then I'm like, you know, this would be a really cool thing to make a video about. I had this thing where I wanted to make a video. I wanted to do this and make a video about it, which I never did do. So here it is, 6 years later. Hello. It's old and it's dusty, but it's a Nintendo 3DS. You see the logo here, the paint smears here from the Sharpie or whatever. There's actually plexiglass up here you can barely see maybe, if not at all. You got the side here, the speakers are drilled out. There are little holes here that are actually drilled. Then down here we have the bottom screen of the 3DS. There's analog stick, D-pad, select, home, start, power button, which is kind of chipped if you can see that at all. Then A, B, X, and Y buttons up here. Volume's also over here. But then on the back you see the extra buttons, L and R, and then you see like the little cartridge slot and all that stuff. So that's really cool. We got 2 cameras up here. So it's literally, this thing is massive. This is like the biggest 3DS I've ever seen. And I just got it out of storage to bring with me on the move. So, you know, it's cool, but I don't really use it that much, obviously. Next up, I'm gonna have to bring the camera with me to see the other things because they're a little bit bigger by a smidge. This is an NES Controller Table, guys. It's glass, and it has the buttons, and then it has the actual setup of the entire controller. Isn't this thing amazing? As you can see, this is themed off of the original NES controller. You have the D-pad over here. These are all layered. This is all, you know, button by button, piece by piece, palette by palette. We did this all homemade. The glass we did order. It's 48 inches long by I believe 2 feet wide, so that's pretty cool. But they have the B and A buttons, select and start, and the Nintendo logo up here. This is the table sitting down right next to it, but then once you zoom in, you can actually see a shelf. This is where I keep all my Nintendo glasses and my Mario and Luigi slippers. Of course, you know I have to have those. And then you see the Nintendo Hot Wheels that they sent me one time back when I was an ambassador. You know, those are sitting there pretty cool also, so that's another thing that I really love. It was nice to have an extra little shelf here, if you know what I mean, just to have a little bit of extra storage room. This table took about 3 weeks to make, and I love the end product. So cool. So that's the NES table, but the last thing I want to show you is actually a shelf. This one, right back here. This shelf was created back in 2012, but basically what it is just a big old Mario shelf, inspired by Mario, heavily influenced by that franchise. Along the left side of the shelf, you see Mario, Luigi, Toad, Yoshi, and DK's faces all carved out and painted and drawn. All this is homemade. Keep in mind, I know I keep saying that, but it's amazing. I love it. You see all of them smiling down the left side of the thing, and then on the right side you see 31 power-ups. You see things like the Mega Mushroom, the Spring Mushroom, all the way down to every single item that was in the Mario Kart series at the time, all down through this thing. There were 31 power-ups at the time. I did extensive research to come to that conclusion, and most of them were there, and it looks super cool. The shelves that hold the cabinet together are actually based off of the Mario series as well. You have one that's based off the green exclamation point block, then you have one brick block, and then you also have a question mark block. That thing is one of my favorite things in this room. I know it's kind of hard to pick a favorite, and I know it's homemade, but this collection is really just a part of me at this point. And I know that it's crazy, I know that there's a lot of this stuff, but believe it or not, that's not even the end of the homemade stuff. The other things are in storage and I may get to them one day, I'm not sure. But here's a taste of my little homemade side of my Nintendo collection. Let me know down below in the comments which piece I showed you was actually your favorite. Let me know why you love it so much. And that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.